Hi guys, and welcome back to the Revit architectural training tutorial. In this unit, we are going to look at the operation of the main menu in detail. Let's begin. The ribbon menu displays when you create or open a file. It provides all the tools necessary to create a project or family. I am just going to briefly describe what each of the menu's tabs are for. Architecture. All the tools for creating the primary architectural elements are contained in this menu. For example, walls, doors, windows, columns, stairs, etc. Structure. Tools for creating primary structural elements are contained within this menu. For example, structural columns, trusses, braces, reinforcement bars, etc. Systems. This menu contains all the MEP, mechanical, electrical and plumbing tools. Insert. Within your Revit project, you can import and link to a variety of D4N file formats. For example, you may wish to bring a DWG survey into your project, or a SketchUp model. This menu contains all the tools for bringing various file formats, components and other Revit projects into your current project. Annotate. All the tools you need to annotate and detail your project are contained within this menu. Analyze. In the introduction to the course, we said that Revit was so much more than just a method of producing drawings. We talked a little about how BIM allows us to test and analyze our design before we commit to building. The Analyze menu contains tools we need to analyze our model with respect to its structural, thermal and energy performance. Massing and site. Although Revit is predominantly focused on buildings, it does allow us to create an external context for our design to sit in. This menu allows us to create 3D topo surfaces, add site components like trees, parking spaces, etc., as well as convert mass forms to real-world building elements. Collaborate. BIM is all about collaboration. Revit has a menu dedicated to working with shared information. For example, you can work simultaneously as part of a team on a single Revit project file. View. This menu contains all the tools you need to create new views from your model. For example, you can easily create an unlimited number of elevations, sections, plans, perspectives, etc., all from your model. Manage. This menu provides access to project-level settings such as line styles, line weights, snap settings, units, etc. Add-ins. You can add additional functionality to Revit. If indeed you to download any of the free or paid plugins, they will appear in this menu. Some plugins create a new additional tab in the menu ribbon. For example, Inkscape, V-Ray Next for Revit, etc. Modify. This menu provides you all the editing tools you need to modify or edit your model. For example, copy, rotate, offset, move, etc. Every tab in the main menu is divided in panels. Let's take a look at a typical menu. For example, if I click on the Architecture menu, the ribbon changes and show a series of panels. Each panel contains all the individual tools you need to create your architectural elements. So, the panels for the Architecture menu are Build, Circulation, Model, Room and Area, Opening, Datum and Work Plane. So if I talk about the Door tool on the Build panel, in the Architecture menu, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just take a minute to click on each of the menu tabs so that you can see the variety of panels that Revit contains. Note that some of the panel names have a small black triangle next to them. If you click on the triangle, you get access to additional settings for that particular panel. Each individual panel contains a number of tools that we use to create and edit the elements within our project. For example, on the Build panel of the Architecture menu, we have the wall, door, window, component, column, roof, ceiling, floor, curtain system, curtain grid and mullion tools. Note how some tools also have a small black triangle situated beneath their names. If you click on the triangles, a drop-down of related tools will appear. If you move your cursor over a tool icon for a few seconds, you will find that a small description of the tool will appear. Revit, as like AutoCAD, makes extensive use of keyboard shortcuts. Most tools have keyboard shortcuts. You can see the shortcut letters displayed in brackets after the tool name. For example, we can see the letters WA in brackets after the tool name wall. So we can easily start the wall tool within Revit just by typing W and A. You don't need to press enter after the second letter. We mentioned the quick access toolbar in the previous unit. Here it is again for reference. Clicking on the small black triangle at the far right of the quick access toolbar allows us to customize its contents and also choose its position. To add additional tools to the quick access toolbar, simply right-click on a tool name and you'll see the option to add to quick access toolbar. As you get more proficient at using Revit, you may want to minimize the space taken up by the ribbon menu. This will give you more drawing area, and allow you to see more of your model at any one time. A small button, at the far right end of the menu tabs, will present you the options of minimizing your ribbon. Double-clicking anywhere on the gray bar has the same effect, and will cycle through these options with each double-click. While you are still familiarizing yourself with Revit, I would strongly suggest you leave the visibility of the ribbon set to full, so you can easily identify the panels and tools. How to cancel a command or tool. Once you have selected a tool, you may wish to change your mind and cancel its operation. There are two main ways of canceling the use of any tool in Revit. You can either press the Escape key on your keyboard, or alternatively, you can click on the Modify button. Please note, I find the naming of the button Modify very misleading. Many beginners get caught out by this button. It doesn't modify anything. It literally cancels out of the current command, and puts Revit back into the default state, and ready for the next command.